So, just today I found out that Eric Gordon, who was the founder and editor of the Camden New Journal, died. And actually I was quite sad about that because he had given me a fairly small but nonetheless meaningful break in journalism back in the 80s. I interned at the Camden New Journal while I was at university, and then afterwards, when I got back from Peru, I started to work for Camden Council and 35 hours a week, 6 weeks leave and all this kind of stuff. I had a bit of time on my hands. So I went to him and said, well, can you give me a part-time job? And he said, sure, what can you do? And I wound up, first of all, writing reviews for restaurants, going to plays and writing reviews of them, and then started writing about sports. And what was cool was, the atmosphere was amazing there to start with. I mean, when I interned, especially in the mid to late 80s, and then again in the 90s, I mean, it really was a smoking, black coffee drinking, hard-bitten journalist. Everything was written in carbon paper, and so you'd think stories were getting spiked. And he was a gruff and very intelligent editor, and he could really put you straight very, very, very quickly. But while I was there, it turns out I had a season ticket for Arsenal at that time, and he allowed me to start writing this column. And in fact, I still have a copy of the Camden New Journal here. Here it is. And I wonder if you can tell what my column is. There's me. It says see page 13. And I'm going to just go there if I can find it, because it turns out the article I started to write was called Highbury Harry. And what I was doing was presenting a fan's eye view from the terrace of the Arsenal games, and it was a lot of fun. I eventually got outed, but at work, and one day I came to work at Camden Council, and they had all these pictures cut out of the newspaper of me, this mystery, because it was always there with a kind of little black mark across my eyes to try and hide and protect my identity. But I used to talk about the guy with his Zoomers in his pockets. I went there with James and Ben, and later my brother as well, and many other friends, and it was fantastic. I even got to go, because I wrote about Arsenal, and I had a friend, my friend Eric was a journalist in Italy. I got to go and cover the Arsenal game against Lazio in Rome, and I was there in a press box, and I was there at a game where Arsene Wenger was in charge of Arsenal, and Sven-Göran Eriksson was in charge of Lazio. We drew, and it was a good game. And funny enough, Sven-Göran Eriksson later on became a neighbour of mine, right through his whole scandal of his adulterous affair and all the rest of it when he was manager of England. But I'm sort of departing here from the drink at hand. So I thought, and I was very glad I got to catch up with Eric. I mean, this is a long time. I caught up with him by email just before Christmas, so we had an exchange of emails, and that makes me very happy that I was able to speak to him, at least via email, before he died. But I'm going today to make a drink to honour him and his memory and his legacy, the Camden New Journal, by making a journalist. It's the journalist cocktail, actually. It's been described by Undiffered's Guide as sour and bitter, just like journalists, but I don't think that's really the case. We're not all that bad. Anyway, it's 2 ounces of London Dry Gin. I'm using my favourite Beefeater. 2 ounces of that. It's a martini type drink, and it's kind of a version of a perfect martini. So once I put that 2 ounces of gin in there, I'm then going to put equal measures of both sweet and dry vermouth. The sweet is Cinzano Rosso vermouth, ½ ounce of that, and then the dry martini, or the dry vermouth rather, is Noilly Prat, and I'm going to put ½ ounce of that in as well. Now, it is a modified drink, so it takes ¼ ounce of triple sec. I didn't have any triple sec in, but I do have this very interesting orange curacao that's made in Washington that really is quite tasty, and it takes ¼ ounce of any kind of orange liqueur you have, really. But it's not much, but just ¼ ounce like so. And then the other ingredient is going to be a ¼ ounce. I'm going to step out of shot for just a second because I neglected to bring a knife with me. Oh, naughty Richard, there we go. But I should have a knife because I'm going to freshly squeeze my lemon juice here, like so. And we need another ¼ ounce of that, like so. And then 2 dashes of Angostura bitters. There we go. It's all a lot of there we goes today. I'm going to shake this puppy up. And that's looking good. I'm going to strain that into my chilled cocktail glass. The reason why you chill the cocktail glass is because, you know, your hands on it and you're drinking it, it gets warm very quickly. And to be honest, most cocktails really are made to be drunk fairly well chilled. And not all, of course, there are warm cocktails as well. And then the only garnish in this is a Luxardo maraschino cherry. There we go. Okay, navigate that board. Let's see what we've got. That's excellent. Cheers, Eric, my favourite journalist.